Hi friends, welcome to this weekend discussion on current affairs. Before we go further, before we start the discussion, I would like to share with you some feedback, quite interesting actually. This person who's written in has said that the sessions are quite long, unnecessarily long, and the person doesn't know my name. That's okay. You know. That I should keep in mind that you are not preparing for UPSC but for exams that don't require this kind of information. So I should not share information that is not relevant to the exams you have. See, to which I can only say that look, I shared this information only because some of you had asked for this. Some of you had put in that feedback. In case you don't want this, well, see, I'm your teacher. As a teacher, our job, we at time want to share as much as we can because we believe that this is going to help you. We are not, see, you don't even know my name, so there's no personal agenda here, isn't it? The idea is to share things that are relevant, and whenever I share, I try and tell you that, we share stuff that is relevant to the exam, and sometimes these are just stories to help us understand the world around us, okay? So if we had discussed Israel-Palestine, a little background helps to understand what is happening today. Otherwise mugging up, a certain point and producing that stuff in the exam is not a big deal. That you know that, I know that, and our job is to just give you that little background. And sometimes, yes, the story could be a little long, and if I'm not interested in that story, obviously it would sound very boring to me. If I were in your place and I feel that this is not relevant to me, would I be interested in listening to this? No, I wouldn't be. So I think I will cut down on the stories till more feedback comes in. Till I think positive feedback comes in. But otherwise, whatever is relevant, whatever the handout, whatever the discussion requires, I'll bring that stuff in. Okay. So in this session, we are going to discuss a few things that are, I'll stick to the script, that is the set of questions we have here, okay? So I'll keep in mind that you don't require some certain kinds of information. According to the data released by the Indian Statistical Office, the National Statistical Office, India's economic growth slumped to 3.1% in the first quarter of this calendar year, or the fourth quarter of the last financial year. So quarter is a financial year is divided into 4 quarters of 3 months each. In India, the financial year starts on the 1st of April to 31st of March, ends on 31st of March of next year. So in this 12-month period, now we would divide this 12-month period into 4 quarters of 3 months each: April to June, July to August, July to September, October to December, and January to March. So you look at this particular one, we are talking of our financial year, okay, not the financial year as followed by lots of countries in the West, especially even in the East. Also we have China, which follows a calendar year, like pretty much like the Western European nations. You see this in the last quarter of the previous financial year 2019-20, the growth slumped to 3.1%. So how bad it is? It's the lowest GDP growth in the last 11 years. Lowest GDP growth rate in the last 11 years. Now, this 3.1 has brought to the year total annual GDP growth rate for 2019-20 to 4.2%. So what is the GDP growth rate for financial year 2019-2020? It is 4.2%. 4.2%. In the year past this, we were slightly ahead. Now it's we were around a little over 5. Now it is 4.2%. Things are bad. Things will get worse. But before that, let me tell you a few more things. This 3.1% is likely to be revised downwards. In fact, you see, this is this looks good. This looks good. Why? Because contrary to what has you have been reading in newspapers that India's GDP growth is likely to shrink. It would shrink, but in the second quarter. In the second quarter of the calendar. Okay, we were talking about the financial year. So first quarter of this financial year. Okay, that is from April to June. It would go down, but in the in the last quarter, 3.1%, it's likely to be down, revised downwards. Why will it be? What is the likelihood that it will be revised downwards? Very high likelihood. Why? Because see, the lockdown started, on March 23rd. March 23rd. 22nd was the, one day lockdown, and then the government said from here, we'll have this 15-day then kind of thing, lockdown. So March 23rd is when the lockdown started, and effectively this means that offices were closed. Data collection from that point, would have become very, very tough. So, they wouldn't have collected data for March. So this is for typically this is more or less, you could say, the first two months of the the last quarter. It is likely that things could be revised downwards, and apart from this, I want you to look at this. Look at this graph. It shows, look at the first one. What does it say? GDP growth slows to 3.1% in quarter 4, Q4. Now, is this a new thing? Is it something that, because of the slowdown, because of the lockdown, sorry, not slowdown, because of the lockdown, things have gone back? Not really. You see this from the first quarter of the last financial year. From then, things have been going slow, very, very. The growth has gone down. See, manufacturing from 10.7% growth, it has gone down to minus 1.4. So in the last quarter of this financial year, if you want two sectors, I can give you. You can write industrial growth rate in Q4. Industrial growth rate in Q4 dash minus 1.4. Minus 1.4. Agriculture 5.9. 5.9. Some extent you could say services, not exactly all the all the components of the services sector like banking, finance and everything, but here is mentioned trade and communication services. So that had the growth had slipped to 2.6%. 2.6%. But you see this now. There is one more. If you want to add, I will tell you one more. What put the GDP on the higher side? Last point you could write the data: manufacturing or industry minus 1.4, agriculture 5.9, services 2.6%, government spending 10.1%. It's not mentioned, but you take this 10.1%. So what had increased? Government spending on what? Basically infrastructure. So if at all the GDP is okay today, 3.1%, it didn't go into the negative trajectory. It is primarily because of government spending. Okay, so you look at this trajectory. Look at this steady drop. It has been going down. So you could say that even before the lockdown had started, in the last 15 months or so, private investment and consumption, domestic consumption, private consumption has been going down. So you could write this point. Since Q1 of 2019, 20, okay, quarter 1 of financial year 2019-20, private investment and consumption had been steadily declining, even before the pandemic, even before the pandemic, even before the pandemic had pandemic induced lockdown, or simply even before the lockdown had hit the Indian economy, had hit the Indian economy. Okay. So things have been bad, and this is not something that 3.1% is bad. It's been going down. You see this? It's been going down from 7.1%. Things have been very, very, very bad. They have been steadily declining to 3.1%. Now, I want you to understand one more thing. Look at this now. In 2012-13. The before this particular government had come to, the NDA had come to power in 2014. See this, last 2 years of the previous UPA, 5.5, nearly 6.2%. Okay, and it had gone. This is 13, this is 14, 13, 14, and this is where the NDA had come. Okay, it had gone up. You see this, it had gone up to over 8%. But then we kind of things began to go slow, began to go down after demonetization was announced, and that kind of put brakes on growth for some time. And of course then the GST thing came. These were meant to be speed breakers. So speed breakers came, but unfortunately then the Nbfc crisis started, the non-banking finance crisis, companies crisis. Some of them went bad. When they went bad, they stopped lending to small businesses, medium scale businesses, and of course large scale industries as well. So the investment that the borrowings of these three micro, medium, big companies and all also went down. Investments went down, unemployment rose. You understand this? So the entire cycle started with, you could say, not exactly demonetization, but it started with, the first step was demonetization, second was GST. These are speed breakers, but the biggest shock was the Nbfc crisis. So that kind of dried up liquidity, and there was no money to borrow. Consequently, a lot of small businesses went bad. Yeah. And since then, growth has been slowing down. You see now it's 4.2%. So last financial year we grew at 4.2%, down from 6%. It was 6.1% in 18-19, 6.1% in 2018-19. From 6.1%, now we are down to 4.2%. So what's the prediction for this financial year? It is likely that in this financial year 2020-21, let's call it financial year 21, okay? Financial year 21 May, economy is likely to shrink by 5%. So we will have an overall minus growth. Okay, you could write this. In financial year 21, Indian economy is likely to contract. Instead of growing, it will contract. Okay, likely to contract by about 5%. Okay, so this 5% is over last year's total number. So if the last year's total number is $2,930 billion in GDP, 5% of that will go down. So we'll have less GDP by the end of this year. So things are likely to be bad, because see, April, May, June, there was zero industrial activity. There was no construction activity, And why did I mention construction now? You could write this point. This is very helpful. After agriculture, construction sector is the biggest employer. After agriculture, construction sector is the biggest employer. Dash contracted by 2.2%, 2.2% in January March period, January March FY20 period, financial year 20 period. Okay? So even before, look, even before the lockdown had started, I mean even before the financial year, that is, April had started, there was a contraction in the construction sector. So things will go bad now. Millions of people are out of jobs. And see, this may be a temporary blip, but it is a blip, and it means that these people don't have incomes, which means that overall aggregate demand for goods and services will decrease. Okay, and when it decreases, investments will be on the lower side, which means that employment generation is also on the lower side. So these are things that we need to be quite worried about. Okay. It is believed that so overall shrinkage will be 5%, but in April, May, June, okay, remember April, May, June, the first quarter of this financial year, the economy is likely to shrink by about, over last year's total output, about 45%. 45%. So it's likely that quarter on quarter, economy will decrease, the growth rate will decrease, the size of the economic output will decrease, which means that there will be a lot more borrowing. See, when there is no economic activity, government revenues dry up, there is no income tax, there is no GST, there is no excise duty, there is no sales tax. So what will happen? See, there is still excise duty, isn't it? There is still sales duty, sales tax, because alcohol and fuel don't come under GST. So what will happen is the government will have to borrow. The government has to borrow, it means it will add to fiscal deficit. So, I had told you in the past, and let me repeat now, that in the budget presented on 1st February 2020, the finance minister had said that our borrowings will be about 7.65 lakh crore rupees. 7.65 lakh crore rupees. Initially, we had budgeted to borrow 7.03 lakh, but we are likely to borrow more, about 65,000 crore more now. That's it. But last financial year, the total borrowings were 12 lakh crore. So instead of 7.65 lakh crore, the total borrowings were about 12 lakh crore. So at 7.6 lakh crore borrowing, it would have been 3.8% of GDP. Now how much is this? 4.6%. So it's increasing. Borrowings are rising. So this year borrowings will be much higher because there is absolutely everything has dried up. All revenue has dried up. Okay. And what about the performance of other economies? You see this year, other economies, how have they performed? This source is, Minister of Statistics and Policy and Program Implementation. Okay, and look at this. The American economy in the last quarter, in the January to March quarter, had grown by 0.2%. Please understand, America was very late in imposing a lockdown, so they were not under any obligation. But their economy had grown, by only 0.2%. Look at China, which had imposed stringent conditions, stringent lockdowns in large parts of the country, including in industrial areas like Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Wuhan, and all this. Okay, so they are saying that our GDP went down by minus 6.8% over last year's GDP, that is quarter on quarter GDP. Okay, see, this is China. It's, you can never ever believe what China says, especially with regard to its economy. Economists, and I have read extensively on this topic, economists say that minus 6.8% is likely to be around, the actual number is likely to be around minus 30%. Some say minus as high as minus 30, and then some say minus 15%, 20%. I have read numbers which are like minus 40, minus 15, though I don't really believe they're extreme numbers. But think about it, even minus 30 is a very high number, isn't it? Minus 15 is a high number. So, if they say minus 6.8, you can safely assume it will be at least 3 to 4, 5 times more than that. Okay? And you look at the European Union, minus 3.3. The whole of Europe was under lockdown, especially Italy, France, Germany, major economies in the European Union, Britain, they all were under lockdown. Japan had imposed emergency, not exactly lockdown, emergency in some parts of the country. But then Japan hasn't been growing for a long time now, except at 1% or something. So they went down by minus 2% in the same period that we grew at 3.1%. Ours, we had a positive growth at 3.1%. Other economies like China and everything went down. So it's likely that we won't have, and people are saying that lockdown khul jayega. Now that the growth has gone down, now we will go up like this. So this, you see, this is now, it's gone down like this, it will go up like this, V-shaped curve. No, it's unlikely that we will have a V-shaped growth. Unlikely. This, banks are not willing to lend also. Banks are not willing to lend, and that has meant that there is no capital with lots of businesses, small business persons and all that. So while the RBI, the central government have been asking banks to pass on the benefit of lower interest rate and increase credit, increase low lending to priority sector, to industrial sector, banks aren't doing that. And this is also one reason why a lot of people, small business persons especially, have been forced to pawn BAW and Girvi Rakhna, Sona, the families, family assets and everything, to generate money to pay for, machinery, plant, and farmers to pay for fertilizers, chemicals, and all that. So things are bad. Things are pretty bad. Things will get worse, friends. April, May, June will be very bad, and after that, we don't know how the coronavirus pandemic, how the numbers roll out. If they roll out, then even the third quarter of this year will be bad. October, November, December. We just should pray that nothing worse happens. So that's a little about the Indian economy, the current state of the Indian economy. Okay, guys. So I hope this was all relevant stuff. Pierre Nkurunziza, who died on 8th June, was the president of Burundi. This guy died of a heart attack. He was 55 years, just 55 years old, and he died of a heart attack. Okay, I just want to, before I give you information about these countries, look at this. This is Burundi. What chota desh hai? Burundi is a very, very small country here. Okay, so these are countries here: Rwanda, Uganda. This is Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi. There is a place here called Malawi. All this is Malawi here. ये सब छोटे-छोटे देश हैं यहाँ पे. Okay. So why don't we write a little info about these choices? We'll start with Burundi. Please write with Burundi. Write Burundi. What do we write? We write the name of the country, the capital, the leader, and the currency. Yes. So write Burundi dash. It has got, the country is small, pretty small. It's just about. I was reading about this. It's just about 27,000 square kilometer large. But you have to understand, it's one of the poorest countries in the world. Extremely poor. Okay. So its people are considered the most unhappy people in the world. In all reports of this happiness index and everything, people of Burundi, Niger, Central African Republic normally are at the bottom. So anyway, write Burundi dash, two capitals, Bujumbura, 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 and Gitega, G-I-T-E-G-A, Gitega. Okay, G-I-T-E-G-A, Gitega, 2 capitals. Dash. इनफैक्ट आप इस मैप में देखिए, आपको गिटेगा मिलेगा, बुजुर्मबुरा नहीं मिलेगा, गिटेगा मिलेगा. ओके, बट देर आर 2 कैपिटल्स. सो dash. There is no president, acting president. We'll not write the name of the acting president. Okay. The currency is franc, F-R-A-N-C, franc, F-R-A-N-C, franc. Next, let's go to this country, Rwanda. Choice one, Rwanda. Okay. Dash. What is capital? Kigali, K-I-G-A-L-I, Kigali. Dash. The president's name is Paul Kagame. Paul, P-A-U-L, Paul Kagame, K-A-G-A-M-E, Kagame, Paul Kagame. Dash. The currency is franc, F-R-A-N-C, franc, franc. Next, Malawi, sorry, Uganda, right, please, Uganda, U-G-A-N-D-A, Uganda. Uganda, the capital is Kampala, K-A-M-P-A-L-A, Kampala, K-A-M-P-A-L-A, Kampala. Dash. The president's name is Yoweri Museveni, Y-O-W-E-R-I. I repeat, Y-O-W-E-R-I, Yoweri Museveni, M-U-S-E-V-E-N-I, Museveni. He has been there since 1986. Yoweri Museveni. Dash. Franc, F-R-A-N-C, franc. No, I think, what is this place? Uganda, it's shilling, S-H-I-L-L-I-N-G. I repeat, S-H-I-L-L-I-N-G, shilling. Okay, shilling. Next, Malawi. Malawi, the capital is Lilongwe, L-I-L-O-N-G-W-E. I repeat, L-I-L-O-N-G-W-E, Lilongwe. The president is Peter Mutharika, Peter, P-E-T-E-R, Peter Mutharika, M-U-T-H-A-R-I-K-A, Mutharika. And the currency is Kwacha, K-W-A-C-H-A, K-W-A-C-H-A, Kwacha. Leave one nice place. The last one, Democratic Republic of Congo. It's a very large country. This is huge area, pura desh. Okay, Democratic Republic of the Congo. Congo nadi ka naam hai, ye rahi Congo. You know, it's more or less on the border. Congo, Democratic Republic of the Congo. Remember, there are 2 Congos. This is called DRC. Sorry, this is called DRC Congo. Okay, and this is Congo Brazzaville. Iska naam hi Congo Brazzaville hai. Congo Brazzaville. Okay, Brazzaville is the name of the Rajdhani. This is Brazzaville. You see, this is Kinshasa. This is the capital. You could write DRC dash K-I-N-S-H-A-S-A, Kinshasa. The Congo River passes between, on the border between these 2 countries, and on the border you will find Kinshasa. In fact, यहाँ पे Kinshasa. Okay, this is Kinshasa, and let's say I'm standing in Kinshasa on the bank of Congo. Okay, on one side of the Congo, on the other side you would find Brazzaville. Yeah, that's how it is. Kinshasa. The president's name is Felix, F-E-L-I-X. I repeat, F-E-L-I-X, Felix Tshisekedi, T-S-H-I-S-E-K-E-D-I, Shishikedi. Okay. Tshikedi. Shishikedi. Okay. The currency is it was ruled by Belgium, France, franc, 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 FRANC. It's one of the most resource-rich countries in the world, but it's also the country with the highest incidence of violence against women. One of the highest incidences you find Somalia. यहाँ पे ये जो सोमालिया है, यहाँ पे यमन है. Okay, Yemen, Somalia, DRC has extraordinarily great deal of violence against women. Unfortunately, DRC is also the country with the highest incidence of rape, rape against women, because there is male rape also, so against women. बहुत खतरनाक डरावनी stories होती हैं, there is a great deal of violence, especially here in this northern part of the country, in this area. Shali, I think we are done. So, which country has received emergency financial assistance worth $732 million from the IMF to address the COVID is coronavirus disease 19 pandemic? Our neighbor Bangladesh received this much money, my friends. Things are bad everywhere, so Bangladesh has been greatly affected, extraordinarily affected, and it's a country that has done very well economically in the recent past, but unfortunately, the pandemic, because of the density of population, because of social structure, things are bad in that country. So Bangladesh, as you know, the Prime Minister is Sheikh Hasina. You don't have to remember the capital and all that, because you know the capital, no? So Sheikh Hasina, Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina. Sri Lanka, all these things. I think we have been discussing these countries, but Sri Lanka's president is Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Gotabaya, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, 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 Gotabaya Rajapaksa. That's the president. Bhutan, you could write the prime minister's name, because the king's name is, he's the head of the country. It's a constitutional monarchy. The king's name is Jigme Khesar Namgyal Wangchuk. Don't write, okay? Just write the name of the prime minister. Bhutan, Bhutan एक अलग है, तो इसके we'll also write the name of the currency. So the usual stuff we'll write, okay, for Bhutan. Bhutan, Thimphu, capital is Thimphu, THIMPU, Thimphu dash, what is that? The prime minister name is Lote Sharing, LOTAY. I repeat, LOTAY, Lote Sharing, TSHERING, Lote Sharing, and the currency is Gultrum, NGULTRUM. I repeat, NGULTRUM, Gultrum. ठीक है? Gultrum. Nepal is causing a lot of problems for India. So Nepal, the capital is, as you know, Kathmandu, and the prime minister name is Khadga Prasad, KHADGA. I repeat, KHADGA. Khadga Prasad. Oli, 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 Khadga Prasad Oli, Sharma. Currency is rupee. You don't have to remember this. Last ka Maldives, you can write the name of the currency is rupee anyway. But the capital is Male, M-A-L-E, Male, M-A-L-E, Male. And the president's name is Ibrahim Muhammad Soleh, S-O-L-E-H, Soleh, Ibrahim Muhammad Soleh, Ibrahim Muhammad Soleh. Okay. So, with which country? I think in the past I discussed one major thing about Maldives. This is a country with the lowest highest point. I think the highest point is about 2.5 meters or something. Yeah. So IMF के बारे में हम काफ़ी कुछ डिस्कस कर चुके हैं. We have been discussing IMF for the last several sessions. So when you use the word, आप कभी भी कहीं पे भी लिखते हैं, बात करते हैं, when you use the word discuss, you don't use the word about after discuss. You don't discuss about IMF. You discuss IMF. Okay? You don't discuss about Narendra Modi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. You discuss Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Okay? About नहीं आना चाहिए discuss के बाद. ठीक है? With which international institution has the US President recently announced the termination of his country's relationship over the former's mishandling of the coronavirus pandemic? We all know this, the World Health Organization. So, एक point लिख सकते हैं. Those of you who are watching this, for the first time or not been familiar with WHO, you could write World Health Organization dash established or underline उसके नीचे लिख दीजिए. Established April 7th, 1948. April 7th, 1948. April 7th, 1948. Within brackets, now observed as Health Day. World Health Day. Now observed as World Health Day. Now observed as World Health Day. So, second point, head office, Geneva, G-E-N-E-V-A, Geneva or Geneva, G-E-N-E-V-A, Geneva. Third point, where is Geneva? Geneva is in Switzerland, no? Switzerland. So, Geneva, Switzerland. Next point, Director General. Dr. Tedros, Tedros, Dr. Tedros Adhanom, 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 Tedros Adhanom. Okay. So next, last point, Chief Scientist is Dr. Soumya Swaminathan. Dr. Soumya Swaminathan. ठीक है, चलिए. Choices, we can discuss WMO. Right, WMO. World Meteorological, METEOROLOGICAL, meteorological. World Meteorological Organization. Underline that. Right. First point. Established 1950. Established 1915. Second point, head office Geneva, Geneva, Geneva. Head office Geneva, Geneva, Geneva. Third point, president. See, in the past we might have taken the name of a guy called Pettaritalis when we had discussed WMO. Pettaritalis is Secretary General. Now write the president. Gerhard, 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 Gerhard. Adrian, 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 Gerhard Adrian, in brackets Germany, he's from Germany. Last point, करता क्या है WMO, right? Provides details of global, national and regional temperatures and extreme weather conditions. एक और पॉइंट लिखते हैं, right? Also provides information about climate change, including about or on, both are fine, about sea level rise, sea level rise, rise, and greenhouse gases. Okay, greenhouse gases. चलिए, one line about एक और, I think IMF we discussed, WTO भी discuss कर चुके हैं. ILO, just underline, International Labour Organization. Underline that, right? First point, established 1919. Second point, head office Geneva, ये सब कुछ Geneva में. Head office Geneva, and who's the head? Director General is Guy Ryder, G-U-Y, Guy Ryder, R-Y-D-E-R, Guy Ryder, in brackets Britain, B-R-I-T-A-I-N, Britain. चलिए आगे चलते हैं. The International Day of UN Peacekeepers is observed on May 29th. I want you to write this. May 29th, please. Write this. International Day of UN Peacekeepers. So, okay, UN Peacekeepers. Underline that, right? On this day, in 1948, the United Nations, truce, T-R-U-C-E, truce means ceasefire, shanti, break in fighting. Truce supervision organizations, truce supervision organization was established. On this date, in 1948, the UN Truce Supervision Organization was set up or established. Full stop. The organization's first Peacekeeping mission verse. Peacekeeping mission verse. Foundations first peacekeeping verse. Was the ceasefire implementation? Was the ceasefire implementation of the 1948 Arab-Israel war? Arab-Israel war. Arab-Israel war. I think we discussed this quite detailedly, yeah. But I'm not going to discuss anything, maybe because we wouldn't have time. If I have to limit, I can't unnecessarily stretch the session as people, as the feedback goes. So I will have to cut down on all those things. If necessary, I'll bring this, but otherwise, extra stories, no. Okay, May 29th, we know the International Day of UN Peacekeepers. May 3rd, नीचे से, okay, May 3rd, Press Freedom Day. Press, PRESS, Press Freedom Day. Next, May 12th, Nurses Day, NURSES, International Nurses Day. International Nurses Day dash birthday of Florence Nightingale. Florence Nightingale. 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 Next, January 25th. By the way, डॉक्टर्स हिपोक्रेटिक ओथ लेते हैं. जब डॉक्टर बनते हैं तो एक प्रमाण लेते हैं, मीन्स प्रमाण करते हैं, हिपोक्रेटिक ओथ कहते हैं उसे. नर्सेस लेती हैं नाइटिंगेल ओथ. ओके, सो वैसे January 25th. National Voters Day. National Voters Day. Dash on this day, comma, the Election Commission of India was set up in 1950. In 1950. Okay. November 14th, as you know, is Children's Day. It's a little more important for some other reason, but I think we'll just stick to this. November 14th, Children's Day. With earnings of about $100 million to his name, who has topped the 2020 Forbes list of highest paid athletes, Roger Federer. Top 5 थे. Number 1, Federer. Number 2, Ronaldo, $105 million. 105. Ronaldo is from Portugal. You want this? Federer from Switzerland. Switzerland, $106 million. Okay, you can write this. Federer, Switzerland, $106 million. 2, Ronaldo, Portugal. Portugal. Portugal, $105 million. Rank 3, Lionel Messi. Choice 5 में जो लिखा है नाम वही Messi dash he's from Argentina. Argentina. Argentina dash 104. Rank 4 में थे, you could write Santos Neymar. Choice 3, Santos, Santos, Santos Neymar, Neymar वहाँ लिखा हुआ है, Santos Neymar, Brazil, he's from Brazil, footballer from Brazil. In fact, 2, 3, 4 are footballers. Federer, as you know, is a tennis player. So this guy earned about 94.8, so make it $95 million. Neymar, 95. Rank 5, LeBron James, US basketballer. US basketballer. LeBron James, rank 5, USA. $88 million. $88 million. Which Indian American has been awarded the New York Intellectual Property Law Association 2020 Inventor of the Year for their contribution to the electronic industry and artificial intelligence capabilities? Rajiv Joshi. See, this guy, I googled his name. I didn't know much about him, so I googled and I found that there is this. He works for IBM. And IBM, he is a superstar. He is considered a superstar. Since 1997, Rajiv Joshi has had the title of Master Inventor. Master Inventor. Almost everything we see around us, all kinds of machines, smart machines, he has contributed to their development. Yeah. So he has more than 200 patents. People work extremely hard. People work, people learn. Without learning, how do you think Rajiv Joshi would have come to this stage? This is precisely what I always say. Work hard, learn. This is the age to work hard. This is the age to learn. This is the age to prepare for the future. Things will be tough, but unless we are determined to learn and use that learning, things won't work for us. So Rajiv Joshi is IBM Master Inventor. Master Inventor. So Kaushik Chaudhary, in fact, similarly, he is a professor. He works at Northwestern University, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So these are guys you don't have to know much about. Don't worry. But it's good to read. The Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare, Harsh Vardhan, released a postal stamp of the NIN's 100th anniversary in 2018. 2018 में इसका 100th centenary celebration हुआ था. हाल ही में sometime late last year they released a postal stamp and it's in my city, Hyderabad. It's in Hyderabad. Yes. NIN is in Hyderabad. Bhopal, there are plenty of organizations in Bhopal. The Indian Institute of Forest Management, you're right. Bhopal, Indian Institute of Forest Management, IIFM. Chennai, we've written this multiple times, but let's repeat. Central Leather Research Institute. Central Leather Research Institute. Next, Pune, we've written this multiple times, but लिखते हैं National Institute of Virology. National Institute of Virology, VIROLOGY. National Institute of Virology. एक और लिखते हैं National Film Archives. National Film Archive. National Film Archive. 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 National Film Archive. New Delhi, plenty of formations. You could write. What do we write about New Delhi? There are plenty of organizations. So I think we'll just skip New Delhi. There are too many to even recall. Which of the following Indian cities will host the World Coffee Conference in September 2020? Bengaluru. If all goes well, it will be Bengaluru. I mean, if the economy is working, I mean, people are moving, that. Bengaluru it will be. But which are the top 5 coffee producers in the world. You write this. Top 5 coffee producers. 1. Rank 1. Brazil. 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 और मैं आपको पहले भी बता चुका हूँ. एंड whenever you write rank number, rank के बाद डॉट नहीं आना चाहिए. मीन्स 1 के बाद डॉट नहीं आना चाहिए. ओके. Rank means 1, just 1. No, it's, when you put a dot, it becomes a serial number. So we are writing ranks. Rank 1, Brazil. 2, Vietnam. 3, Colombia. 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 4, Indonesia. 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 5, Honduras. 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 In brackets, Central America. It's in Central America. We discussed in the past Nicaragua, Panama, Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador. These are this set of countries. Okay? India's rank is 6. 6th largest coffee producer in the world is India. This Purna, it's the capital of Assam. Yes. The highest contribution of about 826 crore, who has stopped the Edelweiss basically. Hurun India philanthropy list. Philanthropy means Dan Punya, basically one who loves mankind. Phil means, remember, Phil means love. Anthrop means human. So one who has a love of mankind is a philanthropist. Okay. This guy is Shiv Nathar has given away 826 crore rupees last year. 826 crore rupees इन्होंने education, he spends on education, basically on education, especially people who are not, who are not financially well off, building schools, colleges, stuff. That's what he does. And Shiv Nathar is the father of Indian IT industry, Indian computer industry. You could write father of Indian computer industry. Shiv Nathar, father of Indian computer industry. Father of Indian computer industry. HCL is Hindustan Computers Limited. Yeah. Rank number 2, if you want to write, rank 2 जो यहाँ पे number 2 है, वही number 2 है. Ajim Premji, he gave away about 424 crores something, a little over 400 crores. Ajim Premji. ये सब education पे generally खर्चा करते हैं, because education is the key, right? Education is empowerment. Yeah. Number 1, Shiv Nathar. Number 2, Ajim Premji. Number 3, Mukesh Ambani. 4 is not mentioned here. Nandan Nilekani. Nilekani. Nandan Nilekani. Co-founder of Infosys. आप पहले चेयरमैन भी रह चुके हैं, CEO रह चुके हैं. Co-founder of Infosys. Nandan Nilekani. Still chairman emeritus. Number 5, Ajay Piramal. AJAY. Ajay Piramal. PIRAMAL. Ajay Piramal. PIRAMAL. Ajay Piramal. And एक्चुअली नंबर 6 अगर देखा जाए, क्योंकि पिछले क्वेश्चन में हमने 6 पे भी लिखा था, तो जो नंदन नीलकनी इज वाइफ रोहिणी नीलकनी, शी इज नंबर 6, एंड अमंग वुमेन द हाईएस्ट, हाईएस्ट गिवर, हाईएस्ट रैंक फिलैंथ्रोपिस्ट, रोहिणी नीलकनी नंबर 6, एंड ओवरऑल वुमेन में नंबर 1. ये जो गौतम अदानी है, आप नंबर 10 पे आते हैं. गौतम अदानी इज नंबर 10. According to a survey released by the Charities Aid Foundation, India was ranked dash in the 2019 World Giving Index. 82nd. 82nd. They surveyed 126 countries, of which India scored 82nd. It is not that Indians are कंजूस, नहीं, ये तो बात ही नहीं है कि हिंदुस्तानी कंजूस हैं, लेकिन हिंदुस्तानी हम Indians, what we do is we give a lot of money anonymously. I'll tell you why. Because of tax issues. काफ़ी लोग हैं जो they donate anonymously to schools, to organizations, charity organizations, everything. I'm not kidding. A lot of people put money in hundis, temple hundis. So the two most important things that India spends on in terms of charity is number one, education. Number two, religion, dharma, not religion, dharma. So अन्नदान है, काफ़ी लोग इसमें spend करते हैं, and these are generally done anonymously, and so people don't come out with numbers. So this kind of rankings are generally misleading. Please know that. Though they do give us a peep into our society, but generally people in India they donate anonymously. Okay. So top 5 कौन से देश हैं? Number 1, right? United States. Number 2, Myanmar. 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 एक मिनट में लिख देता हूँ. 1, USA. 2, Myanmar. Myanmar. Number 3, New Zealand. Number 4, उसके पास में Australia. And 5, I think, is Ireland or Iceland. Ireland. Ireland. See, this charity is not just about money. I ran through this index and I found that they were measuring 3 things. 1, money. 2, how much time do you give in helping a charity organization? So time भी देते हैं. 3, do you help a stranger? The funny thing is, most Indians help strangers. जो अन्नदान होता है वो strangers के लिए होता है, जो education होता है गरीब बच्चों के लिए होता है, not financially well off बच्चों के लिए होता है. This is how it works. But the world has a different way of looking at daan, whereas in India, daan is very, very different. Very, very different. It's a very personal thing. People are prompted by the way they are brought up, basically. Okay. So number 5, we have the number 1, top 5: US, Myanmar, New Zealand, Australia, Ireland. Ireland. So we said 126 countries were chosen, were ranked. India's rank is 82nd. Last rank is China, 126. For once you feel good about this. China. Who is the president of the European Central Bank? Lagarde from France. And choice 1 देखिए, Ursula von der Leyen. She is from Germany. She is the president of the European Council. You could write first woman president of the European Commission, not Council, Commission. First woman president of the European Commission. First woman president of the European Commission. Number 2, Sanna Marin, Prime Minister of Finland. And you can underline, you can write there, it's a dash. Second youngest head of state, head of government. Second highest head of government. Okay. क्या फ़र्क है हेड ऑफ स्टेट, हेड ऑफ गवर्नमेंट में? अगर हम भारत की बात करते हैं तो हेड ऑफ द स्टेट इज द प्रेसिडेंट, हेड ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट इज द प्राइम मिनिस्टर. Similarly, in Finland, the head of the state is the president, is the king. Okay, and when it comes to the prime minister, it is the head of government. She is the second youngest. Okay, and the youngest woman or female leader, youngest female, but overall second. 34 साल की है आप, 34 साल 288 दिन की हैं. At the time she became the prime minister. Okay, not today. At the time she became the prime minister. So at the age of 34, in little over 200 days, she became the president. She became the prime minister, which made her the youngest female head of government anywhere in the world. And who's the youngest then? You must be curious about this. Yeah. So you write Sebastian Kurz. Sebastian, Sebastian. I repeat. Sebastian. Sebastian Kurz. Kurz. Sebastian Kurz. Sebastian Kurz. Sebastian Kurz. Dash. Chancellor of Germany. Chancellor. Chancellor. Chancellor of Germany. Chancellor of Germany. Chancellor of Germany. Oh, I'm so sorry. Chancellor of Austria. I'm extremely sorry. Chancellor of Austria. 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 Chancellor of Austria. He was 33 years old. 33 years old. Anyway, MD of Choice 4, Kristalina Georgieva, MD of IMF, MD, Managing Director of IMF, International Monetary Fund, MD of IMF, MD of IMF. Next, Geeta Gopinath, Chief Economist of IMF, Chief Economist of IMF, Chief Economist of IMF. Next. Which state has topped Niti Aayog's India Innovation Index 2019? Karnataka. Okay. Number 1 is Karnataka. Number 2 you write. Top 5 likhiya. Niti Aayog Index, III Index. Karnataka. 2 Tamil Nadu. 1 Karnataka. 2 Tamil Nadu. 3 Maharashtra. 1 Karnataka, 2 Tamil Nadu, 3 Maharashtra, 4 Telangana. 5 Haryana. Last Jharkhand. Last 30. See, they at the time they did this, J&K was seen as one. It was one state. So उस वक्त 29 plus what we say 736 में थे. तो अभी तो हो गए. Basically we have what we say 28 states and 9 unitaries, 37. So at the time Jharkhand was number 37. So अगर we rationalize अभी change करें तो last rank Jharkhand. Who among the following persons is the chairman of the Installments and Bankruptcy Board of India? This is a new organization. It oversees the insolvency proceedings against large corporates, especially large corporates which have defaulted and all those loans and everything. MS Sahu, and you see these choices. See, IBBI में 4 लोग होते हैं टॉप में. चेयरमैन, okay, 3 members, full time members होते हैं. Choices 1, 2, 4 are full time members. What about choice 5? Ram Sevak Sharma, chairman of TRAI, TRAI, chairman of Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. चलिए सभी डिस्कस कर लिए. As per the WHO report on on road safety 2018, India accounts for almost 11%, more than 1/10. I mean, this is sad. You know why? Because Indians don't value their own, they don't value roots. Because see, unfortunately, in a country like ours, there has to be a law to tell people that your head is important. Which means that there has to be a law to make people to make people wear a helmet. जब तक कानून नहीं है एंड उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन नहीं है, लोग हेलमेट नहीं पहनते हैं. डोंट पीपल नो दैट देयर हेड इज इंपॉर्टेंट? या सी रिसेंटली आई आस्क्ड वन because I'm a teacher, I go to classrooms, not now, but before this lockdown happened. I asked one of our students, "Hey girl, why are you not wearing your helmet?" She had a two-wheeler. No. She said, "No sir, I ride safe." Now the thing is, I told her, "Look, you ride safe. You are a very good rider. What about people like me on the road? If I don't ride well in my car, if I don't ride well, I may run into you." हम कितने भी सेफ चला लें, सामने वाला अगर बेवकूफ़ हो और अपना टाइम खराब हो तो कुछ भी हो सकता है. सो ट्रस्ट योर सेल्फ, इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बट डोंट ट्रस्ट अदर्स. डोंट ट्रस्ट अदर्स, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट व्हेन इट कम्स टू रोड सेफ्टी, माय फ्रेंड्स, because there is no point in injuring the head. You know, last year 13 lakh people died in road accidents worldwide. 1.3 million, 13 लाख लोगों की मौत हुई थी सड़कों पे, सड़क दुर्घटनाओं में, 30 रोड एक्सीडेंट्स में, of which nearly 90% happened in low and middle income countries. How many? 90% of 13 lakh deaths happen in low and middle income countries, which have less than 50. They have about 48% of global vehicles. 48% of global vehicles are in low and middle income countries, which means India included, India and China included, which are hugely populated, which means large population. 90% of all these deaths happen in countries like India and China. Think about it now. About in India, about 60, I think 72%. 72% of all vehicles in India are two-wheelers. Two-wheelers. So we have to be very very careful on the road. Okay, always wear a helmet. It's good, my dear. There is no point in injuring the head. See, injuring the arms, legs, still okay. Fractures, one can get well. But what about other? The head. The head is where the brain is. Little injury, we become a vegetable. It's not fun. Please always be careful on the road. Trust yourself, don't trust others. Yeah, wear a helmet. You don't require a law for that, my friends. According to the latest edition of Global Terrorism Index, which country with over 7,000 deaths was most affected by terrorism? Afghanistan. You want to write the top 5? You could write. In fact, top 7 देता हूँ मैं आपको इसमें. Okay, you could write Global Terrorism Index 2018. This is the latest data. सब अगर हम 2018 का कोड कर रहे हैं, means this is the latest data. Okay, it's not that we are giving you an old date. No, it is the latest data. There is no index for 2020. This came out last year, 2019. Okay, late December में आई थी डेट. तो आप लिखिए 1 Afghanistan, highest deaths Afghanistan. 2 Iraq. 3 Nigeria. 4 Syria. 5 Pakistan. 6 Somalia. 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 7 India. इसलिए मैंने 7th तक किया because 7th is India. And we have discussed all these countries, their currency, their leaders, everything, haven't we? Yes. Because I don't want to stretch the session, I won't repeat what we have been doing in the recent past. Which of the following has been declared as the word of the year 2019? Climate emergency. These days everyone talks about it, isn't it? Yeah. So every year Oxford Dictionary chooses, a word of the year, unnecessary word of the year. There are a lot of words they come up with. I have one of these days, maybe I'll just take 2 minutes, not more than that, yeah, and list all those unnecessary words and everything. Why people come up with those words? So climate emergency has caught the imagination of the world these days. Which country will host the 2022 Asian Games? China. You want this? You please write this. The exact place in China. Hangzhou. Right. 2022 Asian Games. 2022 Asian Games dash Hangzhou. 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 So this is 2022. So होगा 2026 में, फिर next time, yeah, right. 2026 Asian Games. Aichi Nagoya. I repeat, AICHI hyphen Nagoya. 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 Okay. So 2022 हो गया, 2026 हो गया. We'll take one previous one. 2018, you're right. 2018 Asian Games. 2018 Asian Games. 2018 Asian Games dash Jakarta. JAKARTA. Jakarta hyphen Palembang. 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 In brackets Indonesia. 2018. So 2018 2022 and 2026. Everything's cool, guys. Let's go. With which country has India recently signed an MOU for strengthening cooperation in the tourism sector? Finland. I think we discussed Finland's already. Yeah. What's the capital of Finland? Helsinki. 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 A while ago, I mentioned that Finland has a constitutional monarchy. I'm sorry. It's not a constitutional monarchy. They have a president. Sauli Niinisto. He is not important for you. Okay. Finland's capital is Helsinki. HELSINKI. सिंगापुर के प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैं ली सियान लुंग. राइट. LEE. ली. I repeat. LEE. ली. सियान. HSIEN. I repeat. HSIEN. Lee Hsien Loong. LOONG. So first is Lee. LEE. Second word is Hsien. HSIEN. Third word is Loong. LOONG. ठीक है. सिंगापुर की राजधानी है सिंगापुर सिटी. सिंगापुर के प्राइम मिनिस्टर का नाम है ली सियान लुंग and the currency is Singapore dollar, so you don't have to worry. Singapore dollar. It's easy to remember. You don't have to remember all these things. Become familiar. एक awareness होनी चाहिए. Oh, this is it kind of thing. Japan. You know the prime minister, everything. So we'll not repeat. Thailand. Previous session we took the name of the prime minister also. So Thailand we know. Poland. Yeah, Poland के बारे में लिख सकते हैं. Poland. Dash. Warsaw. Capital is Warsaw. 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 Dash. President's name is Andrzej Duda. ANDR EZ, Andrej Duda, DUDA, Andrej Duda. DUDA is, this is Duda. The currency is Zloty, 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 Zloty. Cool. Which is the second largest Asian country by area? Note the country should be completely in Asia. India. You know why there is this thing about this? Because the largest country, बहुत लोग कहते हैं कि if you look at Russia, it's both in Europe and Asia. If you look at only the part, that part of Russia which is in Asia, it will be the biggest. Yes, it is the biggest. But we are talking about the complete country should be in Asia. So the largest Asian country would be China, 95 lakh square kilometers, 95, 95, yeah, 95, 95 lakh square kilometers. India is 32 lakh square. It's 32, 87, 563, but take 32. Okay, number 2 is China, number 2 is India overall. So both population wise and area wise, China and India are the biggest and the second biggest, okay, respectively. You want to write about Saudi Arabia? Just write Saudi Arabia dash, Saudi Arabia dash, capital is Riyadh, RIYADH, I repeat, RIYADH, Riyadh dash, King Salman and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Mohammed son of Salman is Mohammed bin Salman. Currency Riyal, RIYAL. मंगोलिया हम डिस्कस कर चुके हैं, बट चलिए एक बार लिख लेते हैं मंगोलिया. मंगोलिया डैश उलान बाटर, ULAAN, it's one word, okay, I'll write here, ULAANBAATAR, Ulan Batar, ULAANBAATAR, Ulan Batar. The capital dash, what's the president's name? Khaltmuggin Battulga. लिखिए KHALTMUGGIN, Khaltmuggin Battulga, BATTULGA, Battulga dash. The currency is Togrog, 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 Togrog. Next. This is not an important kind of question. Who among the following persons has been appointed as India's new ambassador to the UAE? Pawan Kumar. But UAE capital, you could write United Arab Emirates, capital Abu Dhabi, ABU, Abu Dhabi, DHABI, Abu Dhabi. Right. Prime Minister Rashid Al Maktoum, Rashid, RASHID, Rashid Al hyphen Maktoum, MAKTOUM. इनका पूरा नाम है राशिद अल मक्तूम अल नयान. चल. Capital, what is the currency? Dirham, DIRHAM, dirham. Which nation won the 2019 Rugby World Cup that was held in Japan? South Africa. It was held in Japan. It was won by South Africa. The runner-up was England. Runner-up was England. I think, yeah, runner-up was England. Yes, runner-up was England. Yes, yes. Runner-up was England. Okay. So ये 2019. So we can write 2023 World Cup venue. 2023 Rugby World Cup venue. 2023 World Cup Rugby World Cup venue France. So 19 edition was venue was Japan, winner was South Africa, runner up was England. Name the Indian techie credited with finding ISRO's Vikram landed debris. S silent होता है उस पे debris. Okay. On the moon surface by the US Space Agency, NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Shanmuga Subramaniam is a techie from Madras. Let's not discuss. Okay. But as you know, Vikram was a moon lander that crashed. As it was descending onto the moon surface. Which nation has topped the UNCTAD? UNCTAD is United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. Business to Consumer E-Commerce Index for 2019 for the second consecutive year. Netherlands. We could write top 5. So they measured 152 countries. They measured 152 countries. So you write number 1, rank 1. They ranked 152 countries. So number 1, Netherlands. Number 2, let me write 1, Netherlands. 2, Switzerland. एक और ऐसा आता है थर्ड में सिंगापुर. So Netherlands, Switzerland, Singapore, Finland, rank 4. Finland, rank 5, UK. I think India का rank था कुछ 72 or 73. 73. India rank 73. So what should you know? Netherlands 1, 2 Switzerland, 3 Singapore, 4th was Finland, 5th was UK, and India's rank 73. Okay? That's it. In the last class we discussed Netherlands. So, Taiwan, you write President of Taiwan. Tsai Ing-wen. I'll spell TSAI space Ing, ING, hyphen Wen, WEN, Wen. Tsai Ing-wen. Capital लिखना चाहेंगे Taiwan. It's easy to remember these things. Taiwan's capital is Taipei. 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 Currency is dollar. I had actually planned to discuss Taiwan today, and sometime next week try Korean crisis, but I changed my mind. So in any case, guys, it's important to focus. Look at Iceland. Choice 5. Iceland. देखिए Iceland के बारे में एक line. Capital. Iceland is an island in the North Atlantic Ocean. Capital is Reykjavik. REYKJAVIK. Let me repeat. REYKJAVIK. Reykjavik. The president's name, you write prime minister's name, right? Prime minister's name. Cartins, Catrin, Katrin, Katrin, Catrin, Jacobs Dottir, one word. Jakobsdottir. I repeat, Jakobsdottir. Jacobs Dottir, one word. Okay. If you think this is difficult to remember, but by the way, just write currency. I think it's called euro. Yeah, euro. Currency is euro. You know, when after the session ends, which is going to be the next 3-4 minutes, okay, you type in Iceland place names. Iceland, Google for Iceland place names. Images देखिए, click on images, you will get this. The names would be so difficult to pronounce. So Jacobs Dottir is easy to remember. Okay, yeah. आप place names देखिए, अगर बंदे को dyslexia नहीं है तो भी आ जाएगा. Very difficult to pronounce those Icelandic names. Who among the following has been this? I think is the last question, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it is. So we've taken quite a while. So in a case, yes, we've taken some less than 1.5 hours. Who among the following has been appointed CEO of Alphabet Incorporated, which is Google's parent company? Sundar Pichai. So who are these guys here? By the way, आपको मालूम है alphabet कैसे आता है? Alpha, beta are the first 2 letters of the Greek alphabet. Understand that? Yeah. So Doug McMillon. Doug McMillon is the CEO of Walmart. You write this. CEO of Walmart. CEO of Walmart. 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 Comma. The world's biggest company by revenue. The world's biggest company by revenue. Next, look at choice 3. Larry Page, chairman of Alphabet. Chairman of Alphabet. Actually, more or less, he's retired. These guys have left it. Yeah, he's overseer. These guys are overseer, nothing more than that. Okay. He's a co-founder. Instead of chairman, you write co-founder of Alphabet and Google. Co-founder of Alphabet and Google. Larry Page, co-founder of Alphabet and Google. इन्होंने Google स्टार्ट किया था अपने दोस्त सर्जे ब्रिन के साथ. सर्जे ब्रिन. But remember, in some places you may not find Larry. You may find Lawrence. Lawrence is the full name of a guy called Larry. जैसे मनु फॉर मनोहर, सुनी फॉर सुनीता, वैसे ही लैरी फॉर लॉरेंस, बिल फॉर विलियम, बॉब फॉर रॉबर्ट. सो चॉइस 4 देखिए, लॉरेंस कल्प जूनियर, चेयरमैन एंड सीईओ ऑफ जनरल इलेक्ट्रिक. चेयरमैन एंड सीईओ ऑफ जनरल इलेक्ट्रिक. General Electric. Choice 5. Enrique Lorza, CEO of HP. CEO of HP. Hewlett Packard. HEWLETT. Hewlett. I repeat. HEWLETT. Hewlett Packard. 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 Hewlett Packard. One of the world's biggest technology companies. Top 3 computer companies. ठीक है, चलिए. That's about it, guys. Thanks for being here. I hope you learned a few good things and we stuck to the agenda. Once again, stay curious, my friends. We are happy that you're learning, yeah, and we will only continue to share more with you. Thanks once again for being here. Thank you so much.